Hard Reset is quite the interesting little game. 2 years before Flying Wild Hog Studios would partner up with Volver Digital to make the very successful Shadow Warrior reboot, they released their first game, Hard Reset, in 2011. Despite getting mostly positive reception, the game, like all of indie games, was quickly forgotten. But enough chitter chatter, it's time to get to the game, starting with the story. Well, I will be talking about the storyline if I even knew what the heck was going on. The issue is the cutscenes explain very little and there's little to no setup or backstory, which is disappointing because this game has a very cool man vs. machine, Terminator, post-apocalypse kind of vibe. But it's just never able to bring it together in a comprehensible way, which is pretty sad. Even games like Quake 2, which this game definitely aspires to be like, did a better job of explaining its plot by giving you a quick backstory, something this game fails to do. On the bright side, the gameplay somewhat makes up for the lacking story. The gameplay is a mixture of newer style first-person shooting and classic elements of games like Quake 2. You have two weapons, a assault rifle and a plasma gun, and you have the ability to transform into other weapons, such as the plasma gun turning into a railgun, and the assault rifle turning into a shotgun. You can also upgrade your guns using skill points that you can get through killing enemies and collecting various secrets. You can also upgrade yourself as well by giving yourself more health and other things like that. In addition to that, every gun mode has a secondary fire, though some of them are a little disappointing, as 3D guns simply use the same stun effect, and the assault rifle just has a scope. Kinda sucks. Now, this all sounds pretty cool, and it is, but there's one big problem. And the problem being that there's only 2 types of ammo in the game, which means all our guns share ammo, and when using some more powerful weapons that take up a lot of ammunition, it can be very easy to run out really, really fast. And when you're in the middle of combat, that's the last thing you need. This wouldn't be as bad if the maximum ammo count wasn't 240, with the maximum amount of upgrades to it. And when you need to wipe out a group of enemies, this means you'll run out of ammo very, very fast. And with some of your guns, like the rocket launcher, taking up to 20 rounds a shot, it can become a real issue. And while you do have ammo regeneration, it's a little bit too slow to keep up with the action, so its effects are null and void. Which is sad, because outside it, the shooting is pretty freaking awesome. As it's just a lot of fun to be able to run into a group of enemies with a rocket launcher and blow them all to little bits and pieces with your weapon of choice. Of course, this wouldn't be a first-person shooter if there weren't things to shoot. So, what kind of enemies we got here? Well, disappointingly to say, there's not a lot of unique enemies here. Most of them are your standard types, the ones that have ranged weapons that look like they came straight out of a software game, those little tiny weak enemies that just try to swarm you until you're dead, and the big charging bull-like enemies. For the most part, this is fine, though some of the enemies can come off as really bullet spongy, combining that with your character's questionably slow movement speed, and all the ammo problems with the game, and you can run a very, very frustrating experience. As for the level design, it's similar to Quake 2, though it's a little smaller, so it's easier to not get lost. Although there is some annoying backtracking, and also sometimes the areas are a little too small for the amount of enemies they throw at you, which is made even worse by the fact you're often locked into a room similar to the game Painkiller. As for graphics, Hard Reset's definitely a pretty game, has a lot of really nice details thrown into the guns and the world. I just wish it had more color, as it's a little too gray for the kind of cyberpunk style it's going for, which is sad because it has a cool Neo-Tokyo vibe going for it, so you'd expect a little more color. Most of the enemy designs are pretty cool, though some of them look like they ripped straight out of a Quake 2 or 4 mod, due to them being similar in style. That's not saying the models are bad though. There's a lot of great details in them, and it's definitely impressive for Flying Wild Hog's first game. The sound effects are pretty good as well. The weapons all have powerful infinity sounds, and the music's a great mixture of techno and rock, fitting into combat perfectly. The voice acting, on the other hand, some of the characters sound okay, like the main character. Other characters sound like they don't give a crap, and put no emotion into their roles. Overall, Hard Reset is a fun little indie title, though most of the things were done better in games it was inspired by. And many of the mechanics here will be done better in the 2013 reboot of Shadow Warrior, also developed by Flying Wild Hog. So at the end of the day, would I recommend this game? Well, that'd be a yes. $4 to $15 they want for it. Hard Reset is an enjoyable first-person shooter with some flaws and a short length, but it's still a buttload of fun to play.